Yeah, good evening and thank you so much for continuing staying with us. You're watching On Record Show. This is a new show in this channel whereby we'll be going to discuss matters politics, social life, and also the economy of our country. My name is Daniel Kihora, and today I'm so privileged to have one of the best political analysts, and also he's an economist. He's called Bernard Kimani, whereby we'll be discussing with him a lot of things that affect our country, that is matters economy and also the politics of our country. But also remember to tweet at Daniel Kihoro's show, at Bernard Kimani, and also comment on that show so that at least we can hear your view, we can know where to change and comment so that at least we can have an amazing show. Thank you so much, sir, for being with us.
Thank you.
Naona unakaa vizuri kabisa.
Just like a politician.
Yeah, you're a political analyst and
I'm an economist.
You're an economist. How is the economy of Kenya before even I give you the chance to greet our audience?
We are lolling.
Yes.
I would say we are the best. The economy, you listen from the people. Are people happy? I don't know. You can just ask them out there. Just get
so because you're an economist, and I'm pretty sure that you have done your research and you have interacted with those people. How do people say about the current economy of Kenya?
Okay, majorly to get a clear picture of the state of the economy, you have to consider the economic growth. The data is available. We've been told that we've grown from 2 points to somewhere around more than 4 points.
Okay.
And then we also have to consider inflation. But definitely along the way there are always recessions. Like the economies are, like our Kenyan economy is recovering from the COVID-19 shock. And again, we also had the issue of Russia and Ukraine, something people politicized, but at the same time affecting us. So that's why we're getting a lot of problems. But I believe we are rising up.
Okay. Thank you so much. He's called Bernard Kimani, as you have listened to him. I think we are going to have an amazing discussion with him. But I want to remind you that today we are on one of the best resorts in Nakuru County. It is called the Crane Resort. The Crane Resort. This is in Nakuru County. Kama unataka kuleta mtu wako Valentine to enjoy, we have the swimming pool. We have a good place to take your tea, to enjoy, to relax. All this is only in the resort, the Crane Resort in Nakuru. Kwa hivyo tafadhali kama uko na mtu unataka kumpeleka out, this is the only place. We are live here, and this is the place that we'll be doing our show from today. Back to you, Bernard Kimani. Maybe I'll give you that second so that at least you can introduce yourself, greet our audience, na hata wajue kidogo who is Bernard Kimani.
So thank you. To our audience, welcome to this show. Let's put everything on the record. I'm Bernard Kimani, an economist, project manager. At the same time, I'm a CEO of an organization. And maybe first and foremost is to wish our candidate for Kenya, Baba Raila, all the best in which elections.
That is going to be the main topic of the day.
Yes. So we wish him all the best. I know his success means a lot for our country.
Okay. So first, I think we have brought that topic in which we are going to discuss it today. First of all, do you support Raila for AUC chairperson race?
You see, Bwana Daniel.
Yes.
For 4 years, I did take a degree that encompassed history, and with history major, we've been taught of where we've come as a nation from, and where we are and where we are going. That's history, and we are always called to patriotism. So by any virtue, or by the virtue of being a Kenyan, I support Baba 100%. I wish him all the best in the upcoming.
Okay. In Kenya, there have been a lot of allegations, and most of the people, including even those people from Azimio la Umoja One Kenya, they're not supporting Raila Odinga for AUC. They're saying that they want him to fail so that he can be back to Kenya. What's your take on that?
You see, politics is all about interest, and the moment we understand what's politics, we'll be able to alienate it with any other benefit that comes alongside with it. Look, today, if Baba or Raila wins or fails, it still opens a new door in terms of the politics of the country.
Okay.
Because assume if Raila wins, and we've seen him being backed so much by the government, that's the president, William Samoei Ruto. Okay. If Raila wins, definitely he will have a say in the region, that is Nyanza. He will easily tell people, this is your candidate, this from your home ground. I did support him. He passed. I made Uhuru Kenyatta the president. I made myself the president. I made Raila the chairperson.
Okay.
It still opens a new door in terms of politics. If he fails, we don't know what will be the next course of action for Raila.
Okay.
Maybe he might come and decide, no, I'm now going it alone. So we must, maybe for a moment, forget about everything. Forget about who is supporting Raila, who is not supporting him, what happens if he passes. But we see where it places Kenya in the global map if Raila wins. Maybe we must at times forget all that has happened in the past. I don't say that because maybe I'm a Raila supporter.
Okay.
I'm saying from a neutral perspective as a political analyst.
Okay. I don't want to be biased, but I want us to focus mostly for Raila, because remember, Raila is our candidate and this is our country. We have 3 candidates. That's Raila from Kenya. Also, we have Ali from Djibouti and Richard from Madagascar. These are very strong candidates. Both of them, they are very strong. And if you can look at the race, it's very competitive. As per now, we can't even predict who is going to win. And remember, the election is going to be done on Saturday this week. What are some of the qualifications for one to win that seat? Okay, for one to chair the AUC.
You see, in matters leadership, or maybe in matters leading an organization, you have to always compare yourself with a more successful organization if you want to be successful. So we must maybe compare ourselves with the European Union,
yes,
or maybe some other organization like the ones that happens with the guys from the countries from the Eastern region.
Mm-hmm.
You see, for a good candidate, we're supposed to lead this organization as the chair, to lead the commission.
Mm-hmm.
And one, he must be strong diplomatically. This is someone who can lobby for Africa as a whole, the rest of the continent, or like the rest of the world. He must be someone who can, at the same time, face the presidents at the eyes and tell them, no, the policy directions you are taking, we need a different direction. Say, for example, how you've seen always the chairman of the UN, the head of the UN, Antonio. He's someone who faces the countries. He tells them, yes, Kenya, you're supporting this and this. This is what is going to be the outcome. So we must have that strong candidate who must be diplomatic, and then very strong and very eloquent. He can tell people the things as they are. At the same time, also be able to convince, because you remember you're dealing with heads of states, people who have executive power. So you can't just maybe command them out. So you must be someone who can easily convince them maybe to take a certain policy direction.
Okay, I want to cut you a bit. You have talked about the qualification. I think one of them is the eloquency and others.
Yes.
Because the show is called On Record.
Yes.
I know very well you as a political analyst, you know the record of Raila Amolo Odinga. I want us to focus mostly on Raila Amolo Odinga.
Yes.
First, before maybe we go to other candidates. Okay, do you feel that Raila fits on that position?
Okay, well, I would give my own opinion.
Yes.
And well, he fits, because just like any other candidate, the 3 of them, they are all qualified. And they can lead because they also have that diplomatic support. But what we are talking about, for the 3, are they able to convince all the heads of states that they are capable of leading the commission? Mm-hmm. That is the biggest question. Okay. And you know, this is an election just like any other election. These are politics just like other politics, or like all other political arrangements. You know, there has always been a division in Africa, where we have Western countries, we have Eastern countries, Central, Southern countries, we have Northern countries. And that is not the most significant division. The most significant division is we have the agro funds. These are people who are colonized by the Britain. Yes. We have countries that were colonized by French. We have other countries like the Islamic states. But I want to tell you, as a matter of fact, it will be the first election where Francophones will be voting for a non-French speaking country or candidate if Raila wins. That is one of the biggest hurdles that Raila must must jump. If he manages to beat that, then early in the morning, first cloud, he has it. But unless he does that, it could be a vision that, like that of Mina Mohammed, and we may be just happy, and then by the end of the day, maybe.
But Kimani, I think my question is very straight and direct. I asked you if you feel that Raila has those qualifications according to the record that you know on leadership of Raila Amolo Odinga.
For that person who has a support in his country in an election, maybe he misses the post with 100,000 votes. Another election maybe misses with a few points to 50 plus 1.
Okay.
And still agrees to go on the table, have a handshake. Though some people may call it maybe self-interest, but we have to see the big picture of saving the country, or maybe having a stable country that he has always done. I think that is enough to see him as a leader who can maybe go more than self. And maybe with just that, I would call him qualified. Now, not maybe with the standing that he has been a prime minister, he has been a government minister, he has been a seasoned politician. So I believe he is qualified to lead such a position, which we believe, though developmental in nature, is still political in itself.
Okay, I want to go directly. I want to read this. According to Wikipedia, it's a reference. It says that both of the candidates, they focus on three things. Number one, it's regional security. Number two, it's the economy integration and the representation of African in the global stage. Do you think what's the importance maybe of the next AUC on how he is going to handle the issues, and maybe if any challenges emerge, how is that next chairperson going to balance all those issues?
I think we have to understand the geopolitics of Africa. We've seen a scenario where in the last 2 years, countries have been running away from the West. That is, we have seen countries like Mali, we have seen countries like Burkina Faso expelling militaries from the Western countries and embracing countries from Eastern. For example, Russia. We've seen most countries embracing China, something that has not been there before. So there is a whole dynamic, there is a whole world of things changing.
Yes.
So we need a chairman who can come and at least convince Africans, not in terms of their political study, but in terms of the economic significance of the policies they take. Because as long as our countries or African countries are pouring towards where they feel their personal interests are there and not the general interest of Africa, we will still be in crisis. And that's why we need a chairman who can come and convince countries. Yes, you're not interested with United States anymore, but we have Russia. But what is the greater good for Africa? So that they can champion for stronger security policies. That is in terms of maybe demilitarizing some of the areas, like we have had wars in Congo currently with the M23, and we in a whole diplomatic chaos. We have a problem in Central African Republic. We have several problems in West Africa, and this also affects the economic arrangements. Because remember, some of the wars in Africa, and Raila, for example, has voiced a very strong point about silencing the guns. We have the AU having the mission by 2030 to silence all the guns. That's 2032. But all these guns, all these wars, all these Western African, all these Western countries,
yes,
they are lashing towards our minerals in Africa. So we need a chairman who can come and tell our president at their face, no, we need to add value to our minerals. We have the economic, we have to pass these regulations to safeguard our minerals, and that automatically gives us the upper hand in terms of the economy.
Okay, now since Bernard, I think they have understood your point, and now since you're an economic expert, I think we African as a continent, we are having this issue of trade relation. Maybe for example Kenya and Uganda, maybe they are not having that good when it comes to they're not having that good relation when it comes to trade. Maybe the next chairperson who will enter the office, what do you think he has to do so that at least to ensure that African they are doing their trade in a good mood?
It's very simple. Actualize the African Free Trade Area an agenda that has been there, a very good agenda, always on paper. Just ensure it becomes a reality. You see, I've managed to visit several African countries, and you realize the moment you visit as an African, there's a lot of handles. But the moment a white, maybe you're coming from Portugal, you're coming from Netherlands, Britain, name it, the doors are very open, because in quotes, you're bringing resources. But how about us now easing all these restrictions so that we can do business more freely? So let the chairman just ensure that we actualize the African Free Trade Area. We have the African Intercontinental Free Trade Area, where we can even be able to maybe some things we can bargain, like Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda. They have a good in common. They can negotiate for it, for the market, maybe in the Middle East, and we will succeed.
But Bernard, maybe our currency and the currency of Uganda, at the same time the currency of Tanzania, it's not the same. That's why when it comes to matters trade, it has a lot of problem, kwa sababu exchange ni tofauti kabisa ya Kenya, Tanzania na Uganda. Sasa unafikiria kama kiongozi wa hapo anafaa kufanya vipi ili kuhakikisha kwamba labda ile trade ambayo anaifanya inakuwa sawa?
You see, currently we have a common denominator, which is the dollar. We can equate the value of any good as long as we are using it, because even when you are going to trade in the US or maybe in China, you don't trade in Kenyan shillings, you trade in dollars.
Okay.
So you can be able to know that this worth of wheat in Tanzania is $10. The same, this worth of dollar maybe of wheat in Kenya is $5, depending with the different exchange rates.
Okay. So I think according to how I understand your point is that we need to use now dollar.
That's what we've been using so far.
Okay. But ukiangalia countries like Uganda, we had a fight with them last year, and I think the issue they were saying that our inflation is very high as compared to theirs. Hiyo wakati hatuko na dola Bernard Kimani.
So what happens?
Yes.
There's something that you cannot do. Okay. We have to understand the AUC chairperson, we don't have to go away from that. The AUC chairman, this is a commission, this is a policy guided commission, because we have each country with its own sovereign authority, sovereign constitution and executive power in place, because every country has its own operation. And the inflation of Kenya doesn't affect the inflation of Uganda. What will affect Kenya and Uganda is the way their currency works against the dollar. So it's for each country to know, for our own good study, what do we have to do with our foreign exchange ratios, foreign exchange policies.
Okay.
It's that simple.
Okay. Hi, thank you so much. As we wind up, there is this issue of gender diversity. I think the last election or the previous one before that one for Musa Faki to win, I think we had a candidate from Kenya, that is Mohammed anaitwa Amina Mohammed from Kenya, but this round we have not seen any lady in the competition. Maybe unafikiria shida inaweza kuwa ni nini?
Number one, let's not see the election of Musa Faki against Amina Mohammed as more of a gender-based contest. Mm-hmm. It was all about the geopolitics. It was all about where she came from. I want to tell you, if she came from a French-speaking country, by then, very in the morning, she had won. If there was a very strong, well-integrated East African community, mm-hmm. she would have won. Because the moment you hear the vote from the final out, the vote from Uganda, the vote from Sudan and Ethiopia did not go to Amina Mohammed. That was the key determinant, because East African community was not one. But looking at the current time, also know that we have an issue with DRC and Rwanda. We are not 100% sure that Rwanda is going to vote for Raila Amolo Odinga. That is very open. We are not sure that. Okay, so in terms of the politics of the candidate, you also need to come from a region that is well intact. Because I want to tell you, Egypt is going to vote for Ali Yusuf. Eritrea is going to vote for Ali Yusuf. Sudan is going to vote for Ali Yusuf. And somehow Ethiopia is going to vote for Ali Yusuf. They are our neighbors. Because of there are those dynamics. So it doesn't matter. I don't think there is agenda can here.
Okay.
Maybe what we can only do is encourage all female candidates to come up and then they be supported.
Bernard, tribalism in Kenya has been one of the biggest issues when it comes to Kenyan politics and also Kenyan election. And now you have brought a good topic about geopolitics in Africa now. Kenya now, we can't say that tribalism it's a big issue since the time of Gen Z, because if you ask those Gen Z, they don't now they don't want to vote because of maybe political background or maybe tribalistic background. Now in Africa, how are we going to end? How do you think we need to do so that at least we can end this geopolitics in Africa now? So that at least I can vote for Raila, not because he's my neighbor, because he's a good candidate or he fits for that position.
You see, for United States to have 54 integrated states, for the European Union to be as strong as it is, with different countries, different systems, where we have some under the kingship, that is under that system of leadership, then we have others as democracies. It has taken years, it has taken effort. Because we see, like in the US, they have different systems within the states. We have a governor, and they have their local administration. The same we have it in the EU, but they are still strong. But remember, these people have a common currency. They have common institutions, like say the Supreme Courts. They have a common trade understanding. That's what we need in Africa. Until we move towards that and we realize that, until then, that's when Africa will now move away from the geopolitics of saying we are from Eastern Africa, this is what we stand for. We are from North Africa, these are our people. Okay. When we manage that, then we'll be a better continent.
Thank you so much, Bernard Kimani, for this amazing conversation. I think we'll have to create more time so that at least we can discuss more about AUC. But the next show, we are going to discuss on matters majority and the minority that was held yesterday. Your last word to the audience, followers of Raila Odinga, our candidate, and also how do you say about the AUC? Maybe in 30 seconds, Mr. Bernard, before you close the show.
So maybe it's simple. It's too early to celebrate. It's just to wish our candidate all the best. But the truth be, if Musa, or not Musa, Ali Yusuf wins, let's not be shocked, because that's a key possibility. Until next time, I'll always be here. Put it on record.
I wanted to say that word on record. We have put that on record so that at least next time in the future don't run away wakati tunakuuliza ulisema hiyo kitu. But I want to remind you that we are live here from the Crane Resort. This is in Nakuru County. If you want to enjoy, to have fun with your family, with your kid, with your baby, anybody, remember the only hotel or the only resort to bring your people to enjoy it is called the Crane Resort in Nakuru County. More information, we'll put our number there so that at least you can contact us. This is called On Record Show. My name is Daniel Kihoro and I was your host, Daniel Kihoro. Until next time, bye bye.